Welcome to Selected Shorts on CD, Volume 18, Lots of Laughs. Nicholson Baker's story, Subsoil, is read by Thomas Gibson.
For his book-length monograph on the early Harrow, Niall T. Milner, the agricultural historian, decided that he had to pay one more visit to the Museum of the Tractor in Harvey, New York, an inconsequential little town not far from Geneva. He had already been to the Museum of the Tractor 3 times. Each time, he left feeling that he'd learned everything he needed about the rare implements of harrowage and soil pulverization in its collection, sure that his further photos and sketches would suffice. But always there was some tiny question that lured him back. The manager of the Harvey Motel took an interest in Niall's research and wanted him to recall his stay with pleasure. Whenever he came, she used a headier brand of air freshener in his room. Rather than discuss with her his preference for unflavored air, which might make her regret her earlier acts of kindness, Niall decided that for this visit, he would try to stay someplace else and hope she didn't find out. Bill Fipton, who owned and curated the Museum of the Tractor, was at first cagey about recommending a bed and breakfast close by. "There is one that some people go to," he said, thoughtfully eyeing a 1931 Gilroy and Selvo variable impact sod pounder. I don't want to dump on anyone, but I say stick with the motel." Bill, who had been quite friendly to Niall on earlier visits, seemed cooler toward him today. He had been evasive, for instance, about which local hobbyist had done the superior restoration work on one of the more fascinating transitional Uberté harrows. Niall got the sense that Bill, who had a habit of doing something muscular with his tongue before he said anything, apparently to reseat his dental plate, was perhaps beginning to resent how closely Niall was scrutinizing the collection. "Please," Niall insisted, I really need to branch out." "The Tates," said Bill reluctantly. "They'll give you a room." He gave Niall the address. "It won't be cheap, and keep an eye open there. I've heard some stories, but they're supposed to make an interesting soup." Mrs. Tate led Niall up the stairs and down a narrow hall hung with 3 tiny black and white photographs of sliced mushrooms. A cotton runner striped in purple and black ran down the middle of the hall. She opened a door. "This is a surprise," said Niall, taking it all in. He gestured at a tall, tubular brown vase with a single black branch gnarling artily out of it. "It's so spare. I expected cutesy curtains and ruffled bedskirts." "We are not exactly of Harvey," Mrs. Tate said. She was nearly 50, with an attractive, prematurely ravaged neck and an expensive haircut. A bit of what seemed to be a tattoo, possibly.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?